are finally here. We made it to Hurricanes football and Hurricanes game day. So glad you could join us. Will Manso here, taking it to the next 2 hours through these two great gentlemen who need no introduction. A dancing and excited Michael Barrow, the Canes great, and of course Josh Terrell.
Yeah, baby.
And guys, we're here, man. We're here. We made it, Michael. We made it to this point. We got.
It's game day, baby. Hey, baby, let's go. It's game day.
Is that
I feel like
is that aerosol? Is that aerosol? What do you got going there?
Hey, I had to make something work. I got pressure. I need the Ibis here, man, with the fire extinguisher, baby. Get this thing going. Run through the smoke, baby. It's time.
Listen, Josh, only in these times do we run through not the smoke, but we run through the Lysol and the disinfectants, you know.
Hey, you gotta know how important Hurricanes football is during this time. If he's gonna use Lysol, he's gonna use an antibacterial spray and use it on our show. You know how important this is to Mike.
Well, Michael, that's legitimate passion and excitement. And look, I think we speak for all Canes fans that are watching around the country, really thinking about this. This is here. We're having it. We're having football. And what big picture does it mean to you to have this back, Michael, to just see the Canes on this field that Josh and I see behind us here at Hard Rock Stadium?
Yeah, man. You know, last year was a disappointing year. Manny first year taking the reign, finished 6-7, man. Just losing the last 3 games, man. Left a bitter taste in everybody's mouth, man. We was trying to wash it out, get it out, right? And, I mean, we couldn't wait for this season to come. And then, spring ball, obviously, nobody could see. Manny, it's like I take the line off of Fred G. Sanford. For him, Manny D, the D mean demolition man. He exploded everything up. With the offense, he started over, got a new offense, got a new OC, we got a new quarterback, right? The O-line being revamped, and defense, right? We didn't make any wholesale changes on there, but what happened, we lost some guys, and so now we're going into the season to see if are we going to rebuild or are we going to stay to the Miami standard of reloading, next man up, So, and then special teams, man. I mean, good Lord, we couldn't even make a field goal last year. Now we got through the transfer portal. We was able to get a kicker, man, ready to go. So we're excited about this year. They've been feeding us a little Scooby snacks on YouTube and all that stuff, man. We want the meat, baby. It's a buffet, baby. It's game time. Let's go.
Oh,
Josh, how do you follow that, man? How do you follow that?
Here's how I follow that. Mike has run through the smoke. Mike played for 4 years at the University of Miami. Mike was a second-round draft pick in the NFL where he spent 13 years. But there's one thing Mike Barrow has not done. Mike, have you ever thought what it might be like to wear the turnover chain?
You know what? I had, my boy, DJ Williams, he got the shirt with dime. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
There it is.
I love it. Hey, man, y'all could have gave me bigger biceps, man. Come on, what's up with that? I love it, man. Oh,
hey,
yeah,
look at
baby.
That. 56. We got you right. We got you right.
Hey,
we got the number right.
Love,
well,
I appreciate the love.
The pandemic. Maybe you haven't been working out as much. During the months at home. That's.
Only thing was missing, man, was the cut off shirt, man. Got to show the 6-pack, baby.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you know that wasn't authentic, dude. That's how you know it wasn't real. Because we didn't have the half cut with the 6-pack down there. We need to bring that back. We need that little.
We need to bring that look back.
Hey, those days for me are long gone. It looked more like a keg for me. I can't wear it.
I know in our production meetings, you were like, "Hey, this is only going to be shot from the waist up, right? I'm not that second round pick anymore."
No doubt. I can't enter no bikini contest, man.
You still look good, and we're all so happy to be here and happy that you're part of it. And Josh, look, you've been part of Canes football for a long time. You're down usually on that field getting ready, and I know this year's a little different. But I know, sense the excitement like Michael was just talking about. There's a legitimate excitement. I know every team has excitement with the opener, especially with the offseason that we've all had to deal with. from a non-football perspective, but from the moves they made and what's expected, there's a certain level of expectation that feels right about this team, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a natural buzz, right? And I think the great thing when you start a season is that there's no wins, there's no losses. Every fan has hope, right? Every fan wants to be happy. Every fan is optimistic. And Mike said it, right? I think what Manny Diaz showed in the offseason as a head coach, that if there's a problem, he'll make a change. And he's totally had a shift of personnel and scheme and style on offense. And they have once again figured out a way to manage this roster by going into the transfer portal and solidifying the quarterback position, because to a man, everyone has engaged in terms of acknowledging the presence. Forget the talent, the presence that De'Ara King gives this team, the way they're going to play on offense, and even the additions they've made on defense. But as Mike said, most importantly, or maybe most importantly, Manny Diaz can send out his field goal kicker and feel pretty good about it, right? I mean, last year was mind-blowing what happened, and Mike was a special teams coach, so he knows how torturous that can be. I think there's a lot of good signs with this Miami team. Obviously, there's still going to be question marks. This program is still kind of retooling, but I think there's a lot of things for Miami to feel good about, and I also think there's some guys on this team that are going to surprise some people this year.
Right.
Let me tell you, we're all excited. And like Michael said earlier about the Scooby Snacks, that's just a little appetizer of what we're going to give you up until kickoff. We've got so much to talk about. Josh talked about De'Ara King a little. We're going to talk about all that, but let's take a look back, guys. Let's take a moment to look back at what fall camp was like. And it was unlike most fall camps, pretty much any fall camp, any student athlete has ever had to deal with. So let's look at what the Canes dealt with and how we got here.
Fall camp, it's essential. That's where you find out who can do what. Apart from an actual game setting, it's the best look you're gonna get. With the scrimmages and everything, at who's gonna be able to do what type of jobs, who can learn fast, who's gonna be able to take coaching, and so it shows you what you really have before you go into the season.
My mindset going in that day is I gotta bring it today, because if I slack, I'm not being a leader on the team. So I have to bring a great mindset, a great enthusiasm to the team every day.
There's literally nothing that doesn't get work during the camp. It's a very necessary step in preparing for the season. You can't expect everybody to know all their assignments and to be 100% locked in on everything without going through a fall camp. It's huge for getting football shape, especially getting to know your jobs and whatnot. So I don't think without having a fall camp, it wouldn't be a good season to watch. I mean, for me, I get a little anxious, not in a bad way, but it's just like there's something different about that day. I mean, I think everybody who really loves the contact part of the game gets that same type of, excited feeling. It's like a kid on Christmas about to open their presents.
Lance, he got to play! What I told you! Give it up! Power! Yeah, right? Go! Turn around! Yeah! Oh!
It's almost like therapy to be able to come around these guys and be around each other.
Keep working, there you go!
This is going to be a tough journey with Coach Diaz being as our head coach. So every day is going to be a mindset that we have to come prepared to work every day. On the field, just going into camp, I try to do everything that the coaches want me to do as a better person and a better player.
Because, in truth, we spend more time with each other at this team than we do with our actual family members. So, when you spend a long time away from home and you get to come back and see everybody, that same feeling that you get, that's what I had coming back and doing the workouts. It was like a gift, really. After everything we had been through in the year so far, it was a gift to be able to be around my team again.
This year, the game plan is different. Hard Rock Stadium won't have all 65,000 of you bringing each game to life. but that can't stop you from making your presence as a Canes fan known. The Miami Hurricanes team store has everything you need for football in 2020. Find Canes apparel to wear for men, women, and kids. Represent the U wherever you are this football season. Shop now at shopmiamihurricanes.com.
Download the new Miami Hurricanes app today for the ultimate Canes fan experience.
Welcome back to Hurricanes Game Day. Will Manso alongside Michael Barrow and Josh Darrow. And all the Lysol's cleared for the room, Michael, so I think we're good to go. Everything is everything's good to go.
Disinfect the room, man.
As we look ahead, yeah, it's true. We're going to talk again. We're going to lead you right up to kickoff, and we're going to be here every home game throughout the season on Hurricanes Game Day, getting you ready for the Canes football experience. And this year, guys, when we talk about any team, you always talk about that offensive line, and I think that's the one area that you usually start with. And I know, Michael, fans are thinking, okay, you got your quarterback, who we'll discuss plenty, Derek King, later. Yep. But do you have the guys, the big hogs up front, to protect him, to give him room, to give the running backs room? What do you like, and what do you sense in this O-line as you kind of break it down?
Well, last year, man, when you look at the offensive line, we gave up a staggering 51 sacks. We was last in the Power 5, and so that was definitely disappointing. But the thing is, which is good, is not because of lack of talent, right? It's guys, we've had to play a lot of young guys last year, and they got baptized, you know? Our starting left tackle last year was a freshman. He got thrown in the fire. He got baptized. So we had to make some changes across the board. But when you look at our offensive line, man, which I'm going to call the Miami Mules, right? The reason why I'm calling them the Miami Mules, right, is that they're overworked, right, and underappreciated. A lot of people are sleeping on this group, right? They got a new leader. Coach Justice had an opportunity to talk with him. And just like here from this picture showing right from the beginning, man, we expect big things from this group, and Corey Gaynor is going to lead us, man. Corey, all right, leader of the group. All right, he's the captain. He's the center, makes all the calls. Tough, hard-nosed, put you in the same mindset as Brett Rumberg, Casey Jones, right? Tough guy, tough as nails, man. He's the leader. Get this thing done. He's in charge. And then Clark, who started for us, is one of those guys that when you look on this revamped offensive line, they're playing a lot of musical chairs, where he's a guy that got hurt during fall camp, end up losing his starting job. So he's going to be that swing guy. So God forbid something happen at center, he'll be the top backup at center and guard.
You know, Josh, what's interesting too is Michael touched on the experience. You know, when you look at the experience is getting there, you're not seeing just freshmen playing. You're seeing guys now that have had a little, have had that taste of college football. How much of a difference do you think that'll make as you look at the guards now and the guys battling there?
Well, I certainly think it's important, but I also think you have to recognize, as Michael alluded to with the 51 sacks a year ago, look at the personnel grouping a year ago, and then look what the projected 5 is supposed to be for tonight. The 2 freshmen that played in almost every game a year ago, in Zion Nelson and Ja'Kai Clark, they're not starters this year.
Exactly.
So the position that they were put in a year ago, and that's just by necessity, was really not fair. They were put in a very poor position, and really your team should never be in a place where you have to rely on 2 freshmen. Part of the rebuild of Miami is getting the depth back across the board at every position, where you can stack personnel across the different classes. That's what recruiting is for. And I think you can see this offensive line ultimately start to get there. But Mike also talked about a leader in Corey Gaynor. And I think one of the things that's starting to turn, especially with this offseason, is that Corey Gaynor took a leadership role on this team, where he was demanding that guys come in for extra workouts. He was demanding that guys come in and watch film. And in college football, when you have a 20-hour rule, the reason why leadership is so important, the reason why people talk about Derek King and what he's brought, is because the players need to lead the players. And you're starting to get that out of Corey Gaynor. But again, If you look at the offensive line even tonight, right, only one guy's playing the same position that he played a year ago, and that is Corey Gaynor. John Campbell was a right tackle. He's now a left tackle. They still had to rely on the portal for Jared Williams out of Houston. So I think things will be better, right? But just remember where they were, but also remember it's still a work in progress.
Right.
Well, you look at the transfer situation too, Mike. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just the transfer. You got Jared Williams coming in, big transfer. We talk so much about De'Aaron King, but to Josh's point, you're not relying on someone who's just getting thrown into the fire to be one of your key cogs.
Hey, listen, I know later on we're going to talk about De'Aaron King, but he's a smart guy. He's like, look, bro, I'm going and I'm bringing a bodyguard with me. Right? So it'd be like Whitney Houston, right, in the bodyguard. So he's a smart man. He brought his own protection with him. So I love that, man. And right, Jared Williams, a starter for Houston, ended up being hurt, and now we was able to pick him up in a transfer portal as well. And then also John Campbell, right? Last year he started at right tackle. Now he's making the switch, which Coach Justice believes is his more natural position at left tackle. And then also now, and then one thing Josh mentioned, right, a player's got to lead players, right? And this is what I'm talking about. You can't do enough on your own. Like, as a coach, we can only prepare you so much, but it's that next level. And when you're an offensive lineman, when you talk about that next level, right, it's just not based on talent. And we saw that last year. They had the talent, it's the technique. And you have to invest 10,000 hours in your skill set. You gotta invest the time into the technique, and that's one of the things that Coach Justice kept emphasizing. He kind of reminded me of like Coach Kehoe, and the reason why I say that because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and that was one of the staples of Coach Kehoe. And when I talk to Coach Justice, I feel the same way. Like, these guys know that he's out for their best interest, so they're buying in. They're buying into the technique he's selling them. They're buying in, saying, look, I got to do more work. And like Josh alluded to, the leaders on that offensive line, right? You talk about DJ, who was a team MVP last year. He's one of the leaders on the team. Those guys collectively, you got Jared Williams coming in from Houston. Now they got everybody on the same line moving forward, right? Because as the offensive line, if you're playing like this, you got to play like this to make a difference. You can't play like five fingers individual. You got more power. You hit somebody in the mouth when you ball up a fist and you play together.
Michael's going to get me out there on the offensive line in a couple minutes. me and my 200-pound son. You're going to get me out there. All right, let's go to another position I think Canes fans are talking about, and that's the wide receiver position, Josh. And look, throughout the years, we've seen so many great receivers come through. And not to say that the guys on this list will not be great players, but I think there's a lot to prove for these guys. As you know, KJ Osborn's a guy that's gone. He came in last year, had a good year. But this group here, how much is on them, Josh, to take that next step?
There's a ton on these guys, because if you just look at the production, you just base it on the facts, right? KJ Osborn a year ago, 50 catches. Now think about this. KJ Osborn came in, again, from the portal, right, from Buffalo as a fifth-year guy, and immediately became the leader in that room. You know, Pope and Wiggins were sophomores. Harley was a junior. Now, he came in, and his lasting legacy hopefully will be, how do you work, right? Because they now have to emerge into a leadership role, and they also have to emerge into a productive role. Because if you look at the top 100 receivers in college football, the 100th receiver in college football averaged about 60 yards a game receiving. Miami doesn't have one receiver returning who matches those statistics. So Mark Pope was a heralded recruit out of Southridge High School. He has all the ability in the world, but we still don't know yet until the game starts tonight, will he take the next step? Now, this offense is designed to let these guys play faster, right? So they can allow their athleticism to take over, to give them the ball in space, to set up matchups with alignment, to get them the ball down the field. But the one thing that you could say is an uncertainty right now is, does Miami have a go-to guy? We don't know that yet, but certainly there's a massive opportunity. There's a massive opportunity at this position for someone like Mike Harley or D. Wiggins or Mark Pope or even Jeremiah Payton to elevate their game and fill that role.
You know, and the thing, Josh, that I love about what you said, right, is that right now you as a recruit, as a coach, right, you go find the talent, and then it's your job to develop the talent. And then it's your job when it's time, whether it's practice or game, right? You got to make sure they play, right? You can't have that AI mentality talking about what, practice? No, it's time, practice or games. Like at our practice was harder than the game. And then the other thing you have to do as a coach, you have to put your playmakers in position to make plays. The thing I love about this offense, right, is that it's going to showcase the abilities that these receivers have, right? When you start with Mike Harley, right, I look at him. He's one of the receivers that could do it all. He can line up everywhere. I gave him a nickname, a handyman, because he could play the slot, he could play the outside, right? The Eminem connection. Then you go to Mike Pope, who you mentioned to. He's wearing that number 6, not by accident, because he's explosive like Santana Moss. In this offense, right, Coach, what I love about Coach, I know we're going to get to it later, but Coach designed plays to give his playmaker the ball and put them in a position to make a difference. So now you can see, imagine this guy. He's also one of our top punt returners, kick return. Imagine bubble screen, jet screen. Let him shake and bake, right? Let him, they call him Pope. He'll be out there trying to baptize people trying to tackle him, right? And then the other receiver, right? We got downtown D. Wiggins, right? You just saw one of the clips earlier, B-roll. This guy able to take the lid off the top. Hey, so this offense, what I love about it, right, is that they're not spending their time, no disrespect to the offense, before blocking or running decoy, right? This offense would showcase their ability, and talking to the coaches, they understand this group has took that next step. They're going from boys to men, and I can't wait to see them get it done, especially now that we got a quarterback that can give them the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch that group try to grow. Another group, too, that we have to focus on, I think Canes fans are thinking about is, okay, what do you do at running back? DJ Dallas is on to the NFL. He was not only an explosive back and a playmaker, but he was a leader on this team. Now, all of a sudden, you've got a group of players here. You know, Cameron Harris is a guy that we saw play significantly last year. But, Josh, when you look through these guys, you know, who is the guy that's going to be that guy that, okay, I'm going to take the rock and go 80 yards on one play? Is there a guy in this group that Canes fans can maybe look to see that type of player?
So, yes, there is that kind of player, but I don't always like to put those expectations on a freshman. But if you look at Jalen Knighton right there, number 4, okay, the kid out of Deerfield Beach, this guy is turbocharged, right? He is Miami's Lamborghini. He's dropping it in 5th, making one cut and going to the house. He talked about being timed at almost 22 miles per hour. So he is a guy that's going to have that house party in the end zone. He should be wearing the touchdown rings if they come back here. And what I like about having that kind of speed, and Mike alluded to it with Santana Moss, I'm all about making the game easy. How do you make the game easy? Big plays. When you have guys with that kind of speed and can house call it with one touch of the ball, that makes the game easy. But the thing I like most about this room, as you look at it with Harris, Burns, Knighton, and Chaney, you're starting to have the depth that this room should have. This depth wasn't here a year ago, and you look at the 2 freshmen in Knighton and Chaney, Miami kept South Florida talent home. The top back in Broward, the top pack in Dade, top 20 kids, those 2 guys decided to come here and compete. And Mike Barrett will say it, Mike Rump will say it, any of the former players will say it. Where is greatness made at Miami? It's made on the practice field. It's made at Green Tree. And Don Chaney recruited Jalen Knighton to come be with him to make this team better. And that says a lot about those 2 guys. And when you can stack up 4 guys in a room, the depth is there at this position. But look, I'll say one other thing too. Cameron Harris is the leader of this group. It starts with him.
Yes.
Don't forget about Cam Harris. He can tote the rock as well. He runs tough. He runs hard. And now it's his time, right? It's the turnover, right? DJ Dallas leaves. He's a junior. His time to lead the room.
Man, there's no doubt he's going to be one they focus on.
Yeah, no doubt. And I love Cam Harris, man. I mean, I call that dude Megatron, man. I mean, that joker transform on the field. He can run in between the tackles. I had an opportunity to watch him play when he was at, Hurricanes played North Carolina. And, man, he had one play in the game. I was like, who is that dude, man? He could hit that extra gear. And that running back room resembled the rooms that we used to have in the past, right? Just think about this, the Hurricane room where we had Clinton Portis, we had Frank Gore, we had Willis McGahee, we had all those guys in the same position room, right? Imagine Davenport, and that's the type of talent that we have in that room. And I look at Cameron Harris, and once again, this offense is going to put those guys in position to run the ball, to make plays happen. It's not your traditional offense. They got some misdirection stuff. So I'm excited to see these guys move the chains, man, and take it to the house, like Josh said.
Michael, I'm going to come right back to you to the next topic on offense, and that's the tight ends, because as a former linebacker, you know how important the tight ends and taking up the middle of the field can be. And I know I'm biased as a homer, and this is a Canes show, but I'm not sure there's a better duo in the country as far as what they can do than Brevin Jordan and Will Mallory, two guys that you got to think De'Aaron King is going to love having to throw to.
Listen, and you said it right. There's not two better guys in the whole country. Probably, and I would say in some NFL teams, they would love to have two guys like this. All right, you look at Jordan right now, a preseason candidate for the Mackey Award that goes out to the best tight end. And then Will Mallory, right? It's no surprise, right? They put him down in this game as a co-starter. What? Right? But that's talking about the ability that this kid has as a playmaker, right? And then you got Larry Hodges that can help support. But these two guys here, man, you can't find a better tight end tandem, right, in college football. And like I said, in some NFL teams. Now, the thing that I love about this, right, because these tight ends, right, because of their versatility, right, allows, right, coach to run the type of offense he runs. Because with these guys, they're asked to do a lot of things. I know we talked about the offensive lineman. I know the importance, right, with the quarterback. But these two tight ends, because of their versatility, right, because of what they can do, they can get in a lot of different looks and run the same package, right? They could be on the line of scrimmage blocking the defensive end, right? They could be in the backfield as a fullback leading up on a linebacker. You could flex them out wide as a receiver. They have this type of ability, right? So for me, right, this is going to showcase to the world what these two tight ends can do. Because of their versatilities, right, it allowed coach to play that fast tempo, that they don't have to have guys come in like a hockey field on and off, right? Because these tight ends can do the things that a receiver could do, but also they could turn around and do the things a fullback could do, and then turn around and do the things that a tight end is asked to do as far as being on the line of scrimmage. I love these two guys, man. I think they're the key. They're the key to making this offense run the way it needs to run.
Going to be fun to watch, and that's just an offensive perspective. What about the defense? When we come back here at Hurricanes Game Day, Josh, Michael, and I are going to discuss that defense. Oh, yeah, it's coming your way. Keep it here on Hurricanes Game Day.
Defense.
Hello everyone, my name is Amari Carter. I'm going into my senior season of football here at the University of Miami, and I'm also a student in the Masters of Public Administration program. Today I want to say thank you to Ms. Vivi Smith, who is my 6th grade literature teacher at Roosevelt Middle School. One thing about Ms. Vivi Smith is that every day, no matter what, she made sure that her students felt loved by her, and I feel like that is a priority as a teacher. So for that, I just want to say thank you, Ms. Vivi Smith. We're going big for all you teachers on September 14th.
Welcome back, Hurricanes Game Day. Will Manso, Michael Barrow, and Josh Darrow taking you up to kickoff here, Canes and UAB. We're going to be here every home game, so make sure to watch as we preview every home game for the Miami Hurricanes this season. And guys, let's talk some defense. And Michael, you were doing the defense chat as we left the break. And look, the good news is the Canes defense should still be very good. The bad news is there were some key departures. And let's look at some of the guys that left. And the Hurricanes, when you play for the U, when you support the U, when you follow the U, you know guys go to the next level. It's just the way it works. And losing Greg Rousseau, some of the other guys that have worked on their way, Shaq Porterman, Mike Pinckney, Trajan Bandy. Michael, what is the key in trying to replace such a core of your defense like this?
I mean, when you look at those 4 guys, man, you're talking about you losing production, right? And that's the thing at Miami, right, that we talked about. Are we going to rebuild or reload? I mentioned that at the beginning of the show, right? And that's the biggest question. But especially when you talk about Rousseau, you're taking away, 15 and a half sacks, right? Second leader, sack leader in the NC2A, right? But then the thing about it, man, I just think it's almost with the transfer portal, man, it's like the NFL equivalent to the NFL free agent. And if you talk about one spot where we reloaded, right, it's the defensive end, right? Obviously, we'll love to have Greg Rousseau, but he had to do what's best for him and his family and protect himself. But thank God, man, somebody been praying, because God has answered. And the guys that we have, Quincy Roche, and then Jalen Phillips, man, those guys are ready, next man up with the same attitude, like we got to go get it. So I love our bookends, man. I love the production that these guys bring to the table. And then you fill it up with the beef in the middle, all right? We got Ford, right, guy? And we got Nestor, who will make you take a cesta, right? And then we got those guys backing them up, ready to go. I love our D-line. When you talk about building, right, you talking about putting together a great building block. Hey, we got a great building block to build off of, because as you know, our whole thing is let those guys go eat, man. They're like pinning their ears back. They're playing to run away to along the way to the quarterback. And I see these guys continue to have no drop off, but to make plays.
Well, Michael, as a linebacker, I toss it to Josh now, coming off one linebacker, to talk more about the linebackers. And Josh, I know you over the years had good discussions with a guy like Shaq Quarterman, who was such a leader. All of a sudden, he's gone. And luckily for Miami, they're in a unique position to have a veteran in Zach McLeod to step in. But when you look at this group, you've got injuries as far as coming back from. You've got the leader there. What goes on now in the change for the linebacker dynamic?
Well, look, what's the good news, right? The good news is that Zach McLeod's a fifth-year senior and Bradley Jennings has been in the program for 4 years. That's the good news. But there's no way to overlook the loss of Quarterman and Pinckney. They came in with Manny Diaz. They were the rock that held this defense together for 4 years. They started from day one. We talked last year about how weird it would be for Manny to not see that, on senior night, with not being with them again. Well, tonight, that's a reality. They are not here. They will not be on the field. Shaq Quarterman was the leader of this defense. Who will be the leader of this defense? Now, as I alluded to before, Bradley Jennings knows how to play the defense. This defense has not changed. It's the same this is the Manny Diaz defense that has come from Louisiana Tech to Mississippi State to Miami that Blake Baker was an understudy under. So Zach McLeod and Bradley Jennings know how to play the defense. Bradley Jennings, I talked about it in the beginning, surprises. I think Bradley Jennings is going to surprise a lot of people. First of all, he came back from a gruesome hip injury. So his toughness, just from overcoming that, has the staff super excited and shows just how much this game means to him. But he will rock your world. He will come up, he will take on a block, and he will rock your world. And Zach McLeod's a thumper as well. So Miami might be just as physical, if not more athletic than a year ago, but they just got to get the reps in.
Hey, you know what? When I coach linebackers, man, one thing I always talked about, hey, line up, read your keys, get to the ball with bad intention. And when you look at these two guys, man in the linebacker position, that's their DNA. They line up, read the keys, and get to the ball with bad intention. I love BJ. I love Bradley Jennings, man. I mean, just his story alone, the fact that he had the same hip injury as Tua had, and some people say even worse. And for this guy, man, to take advantage of this opportunity to come back fully strong, and not only fully strong, but when I talk to the coaches, they say, man, you can't even tell that he was hurt. So I know the Dolphins fan, if you're watching this, you should be happy, because if he could do it, then maybe Tua could do it too, right? For the Dolphins. But Bradley, man, they wasn't even counting on him, man. But just the mental toughness, him being a student of the game, understanding, like you mentioned, Josh, for him to sit back and watch, right? Shaq Quarterman, Mike Pinckney, and learn from those guys, right? And even McLeod was one at one point, right? He came in with those guys, and he was 3 freshman linebackers starting, right? So he's got some experience. So he's overcoming injury as well. So these two guys got something to prove, and I can't wait to watch those guys play, because, like I said, that D-line up front is going to make it easier for them to line up, read the keys, and get to the ball with bad intentions.
Let me just throw one more thing in, Will. Sam Brooks. People will be talking about Sam Brooks this year because Miami always rotates at every position. He's a converted defensive end from high school. who's played linebacker. He hit the field last year, but what he has shown in camp, he will track you down. You are not running away from Sam Brooks. He's put on weight. He's gotten bigger, and he's going to be the third man in playing Mike and Will. Sam Brooks, I think, is a name people will be hearing a lot about this season.
Write that one down. That is a name to watch starting tonight against UAB. Quickly, though, let's turn our attention. We talked earlier about tight ends being such a strength, maybe one of the better tight end groups in the country. When you look at the safety position, Michael, you look at production, you look at experience, you look at upside. I'm not sure, again, that when you look around the country that you'll get a trio like this and the safety position. What do you like about these safeties that can make them so lethal for Miami this season?
Well, I mean, first of all, what Josh said, man, these guys have been playing for a while, right? They got thrown in the fire, right? And that's one thing I love about Coach Diaz and Coach Baker, right? They rotate a lot of people, right? They give them that playing experience. So this is a veteran guy. You look at Amari Carter, you like Bubba Bolden, right? You got Swervin Gervin Hall, right? They need a Hall pass to come across the middle, man. These guys got the size, they got the athleticism, they got the grit, right? Right, and you basically got three starters, right? And these guys are going to play and make a difference. And then now with this system, because they play a lot of man-to-man, because of the motion, they got to communicate. And having that leadership in the backfield like that, they're able to communicate and get the guys in the right position to make plays. So I love it. I love these guys. They continue the tradition, what Miami had in the back secondary. And you know what? I don't know if he's allowed to coach, but you know somebody that's probably whispering in his ear, Ed Reed, right? Whispering these guys, hey, man, let me tell you what's right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's allowed to coach, but he's allowed to whisper something in their ear to give them some tips. So with Ed Reed being on the staff some type of way, I expect these guys to show up and show out, man.
Look,
his
this defense is predicated. And his beard is long as well. Look, real quick, this defense is predicated on the safeties on the back end, not giving up big plays and coming up, supporting the run and making tackles. You go back to 2018 when Miami had the #1 pass defense in the country. In part why? Jaquan Johnson and Red Wine, they were seniors, and it was year 2 in the system. Amari Carter, Gervin Hall, Bubba Bolden, year 2 on the back end. Manny Diaz talks about being connected. This group is connected. And they, I believe, are as good as almost any safety group in the country. We talked about the tight ends. You legitimately have 3 starters in the back end for Miami.
And Josh, I love what you said. I want to just add this one part to it. When you talk about well-connected, they do a great job also of pre-snap read. They'll show like one high, and then after post-snap, they're rolling into 2 high coverage. So when you do stuff like that, man, it's going to give you some opportunity to get your hands on the ball, and those guys do an excellent job of getting that done.
Feeling good about this defense after that conversation. We didn't even get to the corners, but it gives you an idea of how good this Miami defense can hopefully be. Defense indeed. And when we come back on Hurricanes defense, we got to turn our attention to the other team. A little enemy intel is coming your way in just a bit. Keep it here on Hurricanes Game Day.
Year, the game plan is different. Hard Rock Stadium won't have all 65,000 of you bringing each game to life. But that can't stop you from making your presence as a Canes fan known. The Miami Hurricanes team store has everything you need for football in 2020. Find Canes apparel to wear for men, women, and kids. Represent the U wherever you are this football season. Shop now at Shop Miami Hurricanes.
All right, welcome back. And, as we return, you want to feel safe and show your colors during this football season. Get your UM mask at shopuofmiami.com or visit the store located on the beautiful Coral Gables campus. And we arrived today. And, Michael, did they send you a couple of these masks, the U masks, to wear with pride?
Y'all holding back on me, man. Y'all holding back. Can a brother get a mask?
We got to get you this. We're going to ship you this as we speak. Shopuofmiami.com, though. And then...
And they'll coordinate too. They'll coordinate with my shirt. They'll coordinate. You got to coordinate. You got to coordinate.
Hey, you know what happened? I think the kids stole those masks when he was spraying the Lysol earlier. I think the kids put the masks on so they weren't inhaling any of those fumes. You might want to check the kids' drawer after this show. You might want to check in the kids' room.
Hey, y'all better watch Josh. Josh may be in the parking lot trying to sell those masks. Y'all watch him when you get out.
Well, plenty of them at shopuofmiami.com. And guys, we of course talk about these masks because it's become such a big part of all of our lives, and that is dealing with COVID. and this pandemic. And at the University of Miami, obviously, it has been a focus and an incredible amount of work and research to make this season happen. A behind-the-scenes look at what has been going on with this crisis.
I was at the Heat game, that was the night they found out that Rudy Gobert had tested positive, and it all, that was it. That was really the turning point. You knew something was happening, you just didn't know what it was going to be.
I knew there was a lot of things that we were going to have to address. I think I was in shock at the time at the NBA's decision.
Right when we got the news, I was thinking, maybe another week we would be off of campus. Yeah, I thought, maybe like a week or two tops, especially like with football.
At that point, we were learning so much. We were juggling to try and make the best decisions we could with the information we had and understanding the decisions at the conference and the NCAA level.
It was kind of the point where it kind of hit me. It was like, there's no more spring ball. Probably not coming back to campus this whole semester. So it was kind of surreal when I heard about all that.
The mental health aspect was really first and foremost. So whether you're a player or a coach or whatever, what we missed, we all missed together. And I think that shared experience helped us to have a point of connection where we could talk through some of the things that we were all feeling. We knew that the rest of the spring semester was going to go online. We came together as a staff and said that we've got to provide for our players and, to be honest, each other as well. And we had to create some sort of structure, and then we had to try as much as possible to keep some sort of sense of bond and togetherness. When in any of our lifetimes have we ever spent time physically detached from everybody else in society?
We started an Instagram page, the Quarantine Canes, so that was one way we all stayed in touch, just to send our workouts to one another, let everybody know that we're working out still.
I think when everybody was at home and Coach Philly was doing the Zoom video workouts, I think everybody was getting in and then just trying to get ready for the regular season.
When you have a president that has expertise in public health during a pandemic, you can't really be positioned any better as an institution. Committees and medical experts who are in a position to provide the best possible guidance, both from an infectious disease standpoint, from a public health standpoint. And we were able to partner with that group very early on in the process to begin to develop, how we safely brought student athletes back, how we safely brought staff back, having a testing site in our athletic training facility, having a partnership with campus to just help us set protocols and establish decisions.
And I don't think I had an appreciation for the amount of steps that it would take to put everything together. We're blessed, as I said before, to have senior leadership that has experience. And again, that starts at the top with Dr. Frank and his experience in dealing with pandemics and the emphasis that he put on the importance of being able to bring our student athletes back to campus in a safe environment.
As a player and, as a student athlete, when the people in charge, Coach Diaz, Mr. James, President Julio, Frank, and when they listen to, the student athletes and the students, that just builds, a certain level of trust.
Miami has a hospital on campus, so that's a big help, obviously. All the doctors and Benny and Coach Diaz, everybody's doing a really, really good job of making sure everybody's safe before they even come to the building. So that way, when we come to the building, we can just focus on football and focus on getting better.
The easiest way for us to just simply stay grounded is just being at the facility. Us going to go work out together, practicing together, us keeping our minds off of, all the negative stuff going outside of the field.
It was like, it's like being away from family. Because, in truth, we spend more time with each other at this team than we do with our actual family members. So, when you spend a long time away from home and you get to come back and see everybody, that same feeling that you get, that's what I had coming back and doing the workouts. It was a gift, really. After everything we had been through in the year so far, it was a gift to be able to be around my team again.
I think we'll all come out of this with a greater appreciation for the lives we have to live. I think we'll all come out of this with a much greater appreciation for what it means to experience a pandemic and how it can change our world.
You can only beat the day that's laid out in front of you, and if we worry about, whether it's dealing with coronavirus or dealing with our academics or anything else, what we have seen is if we're worried about what things look like 4 weeks from now, we're gonna mess up today. So let's just control what we can control. You hear coaches say that all the time, but it's never been more true. And the great thing about this coronavirus has taught us is that when we control what we can control and do it in a good way, the numbers come down. When we don't, the numbers go up. This has been the ultimate year in learning the lesson of win the day.
This year, the game plan is different. Hard Rock Stadium won't have all 65,000 of you bringing each game to life. But that can't stop you from making your presence as a Canes fan known. The Miami Hurricanes team store has everything you need for football in 2020. Find Canes apparel to wear for men, women, and kids. Represent the U wherever you are this football season. Shop now at shopmiamihurricanes.com.
My name is Madison Dill. I'm a senior volleyball player at the University of Miami. The teacher I would like to recognize is my mom, Kim Dill. She's a middle school PE teacher at Liberty Pines Academy in San Augustine, Florida. I'm so thankful for her because of how she's impacted my life and how she devotes herself to her job and the love and passion that she has for her students. We're going big for teachers on September 14th.
All right, as we come back here to Hurricanes Game Day, Will Manso, Josh Darrow, and Michael Barrow. Michael, we're going to turn to what we like to call, and you like to call, enemy intel. Learning a little bit about this UAB team that Manny Diaz stated this week has a little bit of advantage having played already this season, having played one game. But defensively, when you look at them, what do you like about this defense, which statistically was pretty good last year?
I mean, this defense is really good. I mean, statistically, they've been rated in the top 10 in 2 categories: total defense and passing defense, and then also the 11 in sacks and 14 in tackle for loss. Everything for them, just like us, start up front. They got the Twin Towers at defensive end. Both guys are 6'7", and they're led by University of Florida transfer number 22, Jordan Smith. And then at linebacker, man, I don't know if we let one get away, but they got a hometown grown talent in Chris Moe, right? He's from local Carl Gables High School. He was all Conference USA, all Conference USA player, and then he also a Defensive of the Year candidate. And then the secondary, man, they're loaded. They returned 5 of their starters plus 1. All right, they're led by number 21, Will Bowler, and then their corner, Harris, who was an all-conference guy the previous year before. So this defense, man, they're aggressive. They play a lot of man-to-man coverage, and they get after the quarterback, and this is going to be a good test for our offense.
It's going to be a
Josh,
huge
you see
test,
statistically.
Michael.
Josh, statistically, I mean, we talked about it. Michael's right. I mean, you look at those numbers; those aren't fluky. That's over the course of a season. This is a very talented defense.
Yeah, and let me tell you this too, guys. The tape don't lie. All right, it's not just numbers. The tape doesn't lie about UAB's defense. Mike said it. They're 7-8 deep on defensive line, inside and outside. And we talked earlier about Miami, right? Resetting the foundation on the offensive line. We go back a year ago to the game against Florida. That was a scary proposition. So Miami's offensive line is going to be tested severely here tonight. This defense is legitimate. There's no two ways about it. This defense is really, really good. And the other thing they do really well, too, Manny Diaz is an analytics guy, right? And when he talks about defense, he talks about yards per play. UAB's defense, yards per play allowed, is almost the same as Miami's. That's how good their defense is. And they do a really good job of getting you off schedule and getting you to third down. And then when they get to third down, they get you off the field. And that's where Miami struggled a year ago. So you want to talk about a key matchup? Miami's offense, I don't care about the scheme. I'm talking about personnel. UAB is good. No. UAB is very good. And you talk about getting tested, they will get tested. Miami will tonight.
Yeah, I think that's something Canes fans that are watching now need to understand. This is a good defense. This is a good football team. This is not a cakewalk to open the season. There's no such thing as that right now. UAB very, very talented. Now, we're going to get to enemy intel, UAB offense in a moment. But while we've got a minute, why don't we meet some folks in our Coast to Coast Canes, a couple that I would say are pretty die-hard Canes fans.
I'm Kristen Jacks.
I'm Brian Richards.
I actually just married this guy April 4th, so now I guess I'm Kristen Richards. My Canes love started when I was a little girl. I watched football games with my dad when I was young. I wear gear everywhere I go. There's not a day that I think I don't wear some kind of orange or green. This is pretty much what we wear on date night. Our first date was actually then 2016 at the game. This is my engagement ring. This is my wedding band. So I have my orange and green there. I'm very happy. We didn't take the traditional photos, clearly. I mean, who dresses up in their Canes gear for their engagement photos? Who knew? I'm a huge tailgater. He is too. And they bring like the TV, the generator. We got grills that would be either orange or green. I was actually in the Turnover Chain music video. That wasn't on purpose, but I was at the right point at the right time. His best man was no longer able to come to the games, so we kind of solved that solution by making a cardboard cutout of him. People take pictures with him. The real Miguel actually says that Cardboard Miguel is more popular. Everyone gathering together and doing the chant, that I will always hold that. Always hold that to my heart because that's amazing. It could be either, it's great to be a Miami Hurricane, or, you know, CANES.
Those are diehards right there. Woo! Those are love fans like that. Wish they could be here tonight. Oh, yeah, but we've got Canes everywhere, coast-to-coast Canes. All right, guys, enemy intel continues with the offense. And, Michael, you know, we talk about the defense being legit. The offense is legit as well because they have got one of the more talented, certainly statistically and overall running backs in the country. Maybe a lot of people watching don't know much about Spencer Brown, so give them a lowdown on who Spencer Brown is and what he could do.
Yeah, no doubt, man. First of all, you need to think about UPS. What can Brown do for you? And when you look at Spencer Brown, man, it's a grown man running the ball. You can't bring any paper plates to this party trying to tackle him. We got to go through the thighs and drive for 5, man. We got to bring it. We got to game tackle this dude. We talked about our offensive line being tested by their defensive line. Well, their offense, right, they're returning 5 stars, all starters on the offensive line. Spencer Brown is career-leading rusher at UBA, right? And then it's just not him, man. It's Jeremy Brown, too, as a change-up. They got a little thunder and lightning going on. So we got to be prepared, man. We got to lay heavy on this dude, man, and get this dude to the ground because he does a great job of breaking tackles.
Josh, as we turn our attention again, the playmakers on this team, look, they have them. I mean, it's not just a guy in Brown and you know, Michael mentioned both guys, but in Mitchell, who's a playmaker who could do it in special teams as well. What are some of the things Miami's defense will have to deal with there?
Well, you look at Mitchell there, and they've got a really good starting tandem. You know, not only Mitchell, but really the guy to watch is Watkins. And he's Sammy Watkins' cousin. He's from the same area over in Fort Myers. This is the guy that went over 1,000 yards a year ago. I know we're looking at Mitchell here against Central Arkansas. But Watkins is the go-to guy. He's 89 targets a year ago. Yeah. He went over 1,000 yards. Only the 3rd time in UAB history that a receiver went over 1,000 yards. He's 6'3", he's big. And when you really look at the structure of this UAB offense, as Mike alluded to, of course, their first thing is to run the football. It's 40 attempts a game. But when they throw, they want to take shots. They're one of the most explosive teams in terms of throwing the ball down the field. And Watkins can go up and he can high point it. Now, that being said, and I know we're going to get into this, I like that for Miami because I'm not a huge fan of the quarterback. I think that's the weak link. And number 2,
well, let's go,
even
Josh, let's go there. Tyler Johnson.
Okay.
Let's go to Tyler Johnson. What is it about him that you think Miami could exploit?
Well, he turns the ball over. And number 2, I'm not sure if he was auditioning for America's Got Talent or you know, Dancing with the Stars, but he likes to move his feet a lot. You know, he gets in the pocket and those feet start churning. But the other thing, too, is in the first game against Central Arkansas, they didn't put hardly any pressure on him. He didn't get hit. That's got to be the difference here tonight. We talked about Miami's defensive line, the reload, Jalen Phillips. You know, we talked about Quincy Roche, the guys in the middle, Jafari Harvey. They got to make Tyler Johnson feel the pressure and then force him into mistakes. Because we know the back end, as we talked about, that's the experienced group.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I
Michael,
think
is that the
Josh,
way you handled?
Yeah, no doubt, man. You got to put pressure on him. This guy's a different quarterback when he got pressure on him. And then one thing I also alluded to, this guy's a stare-down guy. So we got to make him pay. He's going to give us some opportunities right now. Last year, he was he thrown 17 touchdowns, but he threw 15 interceptions. And we'll talk more about that later on as far as keys to victory. But we got to make this guy pay, man. He's going to give us some opportunities. Obviously, like Josh said, man, we got to get some pressure on him, which is going to be a challenge because their offensive line, like I said earlier, returning all 5 starters. But our guys can get this done, man.
Oh, we'll see if that is, and Michael alluded to his keys to the game. That's coming up later. But when we come back, we're also going to hear from Manny Diaz. He's going to break down something that's very near and dear to Michael's heart, and that's tackling. When Hurricanes Game Day comes back right after this.
Receive it. Physical, physical, physical. Yeah.
The COVID-19 pandemic has created challenges for all of us, but Canes are resilient. Canes are united. As an athletics department, we are facing significant financial challenges related to the pandemic, but we remain committed to our mission of building champions. We stand united in support of our young men and women and launched the Canes United COVID-19 Relief Initiative. Show your support of the Canes by making a gift today at umcanesunited.com.
Welcome back to Hurricanes Game Day. Michael, we went to break talking about tackling. Over 1,100 times you wrapped up and finished a tackle in the NFL. And Manny Diaz is now with Don Bailey Jr. to break it down how Miami likes to tackle.
It's now time for the breakdown segment with head coach Manny Diaz. Coach, what do you have for us today?
Tackling. Always a big thing in openers. So I wanted to sort of, take a look inside the hood of our tackling progression, how we teach it, and show some clips of how it comes together during the course of a game. So really, we coach 2 types of tackling, and our system was really descendant from Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. He was really the forerunner in introducing this to the football community probably about 5-6 years ago, when we all understood we had to coach tackling differently to take the head out of the game, to protect the players who we're playing with. So we've been in the system now tackling for, like I said, since about 2014. In addition to really doing a great job of being a sure tackling team, it has really helped us being a safe tackling team. And that's why we use the shoulder to tackle. We don't use the head, and it really descended from rugby tackling. So the first tackle we're going to talk about is the cane tackle. And a cane tackle is what we use when I can see the front of the person I'm going to tackle. So if I can see the front of the tackle, what I'm going to do is in a cane tackle, I'm going to take my nearest shoulder and I'm going to put it into your nearest thigh. So let's take a look at the video and see an example of a cane tackle. All right, so this is from a year ago, and you'll see number 55, Shaq Quarterman, okay? So again, what a great tackler Shaq was. Okay, so let's take a look as the play unfolds and the situation Shaq finds himself in. Okay, Shaq right now is in what we'd call a right shoulder cane tackle. He's in outstanding body position. He's got his knees bent, his head is up, his near toe and near knee are closest to the ball carrier. Okay, he's going to put his shoulder on the thighs of the player, and then he's going to squeeze the player right below the hamstrings, right above the knee, and squeeze his 2 knees together. If you think about it, it is really hard to run with your 2 knees squeezed together, okay? He will run his feet on contact, which you see right here. You see Shaq hit and see the second foot come right there and run his feet on contact. And when you're a guy like Shaq and you pack a punch, okay, even without the head being in the contact, you see, and the perfect wrap, and you see the player end up on his back and Shaq still in a wrapped up position. So anytime I see a person from the front, if I grab him high, remember he's facing my goal line. If I grab him high, his feet are still moving. So anytime I see the front of a player, I've got to wrap up low, okay? Here's another example from a year ago. Okay, this is the ball's caught, and again, the key, offenses are going to complete passes. You got to keep it from being an explosive play in the open field. And Gervin Hall, the same thing right here. Does a great job. This is a left shoulder tackle rather. Okay. The head is off to the side of the body. Okay. Over here, he's going to wrap up the thighs of the player. And again, physical contact. Great job right there. Even without hitting him with the head, it's a little hard to tell from this angle, but the head is on the outside of the body over here. Wraps up the legs, and again, the player goes backwards. And see how Gervin on the finish is still wrapped up on the legs? And this is why we drill this every day in practice. We don't like tackling dummies and sleds. We like tackling people, because I want every player on defense to understand what it means when you take another person's legs and tie them together, and what happens to that person when you do that, okay? So that's a cane tackle. Now, the other type of tackle we talk about is a cane roll. So on a cane roll, what this means is that it's the same thing as a cane tackle. I see the front of the person I'm going to tackle, but now, as I've run my feet on contact, the player is not going to the ground. So this is Al Blades coming from outside in. Okay, so for Al, this is his right shoulder. So it should be a right shoulder cane tackle. So right before impact, again, Al has his nearest knee and nearest toe closest to the ball carrier, and he is shooting his right shoulder into the near thigh board of the player he's going to tackle. And again, remember, the player is facing downfield, so that's what makes this a cane tackle. He's going to wrap up the legs, but what you see right now is that the player is still going forward. So what Al is going to do, in the way we coach this, Al is going to roll on his body. And if you roll on your back, when you grab a person's legs and then roll on your back, that person is going to go to the ground. So that's exactly what happens right here. Even though Al slips off the one leg, but he's got the other leg tied up, rolls on his back. When people get rolled on their back, their progress stops, okay? Here's another great example from a defensive lineman, okay? We always say that tackle for losses, anytime, and that's a huge part of our defense, almost all TFLs are cane tackles. Because when you pop in through a backfield, okay, which happens to us all the time, like Jordan Miller right here, runners are generally going to try to stop their feet to try to make you miss. And if you go high, if a defensive lineman lunges high, you're generally going to fall off the runner as the runner ducks down. So you can see right here, Jordan is a left shoulder cane tackle. Okay, he's getting his shirt pulled right there, but we'll not pay attention to that, okay? All right, so right now his nearest shoulder is his left shoulder, okay? He's going to put the left shoulder on the thigh, but again, because he's in a trailing position, he's not able to stop the man's progress. He's not able to put the thigh in a north-south position. So what he's going to do is he's going to wrap up the legs regardless, and he's going to roll on his back. So again, watch how he's got the guy, he rolls on his back. When you roll on your back, doesn't matter how big and strong and powerful the other guy is. If you wrap someone's legs and roll on your back, that person's going to go to the ground. See how Jordan is still holding the leg even as the runner's going to the ground? That is our emphasis in tackling, is to wrap up on legs and run your feet, and the guy will go down. If he's not going down when you run your feet, roll on your back, and I assure you go down. And kids, you can try this at home with your little brothers, or and get your parents mad at you if you want to. Okay, here's another example. Bang. So this is going to be Shaq Quarterman. He knocks the heck out of the fullback right here. Okay, it's a left shoulder tackle, but again, right now, we're not able to if I can't get the shoulder on the thigh board, which means this guy's feet are still trying to chop. See how the running back's feet are still running? Then he's going to roll on his back and see what Shaq does. Again, watch the wrap. And watch the roll on the back right there. See how we still got the ball carrier wrapped up down there at the end? Still wrapped up, still wrapped up. We want those guys to feel like it, that when, again, I've got you by the legs, and that's no fun. Now, a profile tackle, the profile is what you would expect, okay? Profile means I see the side of the person that I'm going to tackle. So a profile tackle, okay, instead of going for the legs, now we're going to go for the near pectoral muscle. And the reason why we do that is because in a profile tackle, now I'm square and the person I'm tackling is turned, which means I'm in the more powerful position. Okay, so again, here's Shaq right here, left shoulder, profile tackle. He sees the side of the person he's going to tackle. He's going to put his shoulder pad through the near pec of the ball carrier, and then same thing. But see, and it's a little bit tough to see, but see how Shaq's near knee is still forward. So if it's a left shoulder tackle, I got to bring my left toe and my left knee, which connected by the same leg. If I bring them to the ball carrier, that will put me in a powerful position, which you see right here, bang, and then either run your feet or again, roll on your back, and that guy's going to go right to the ground. Okay, another example right here. Most profile tackles are back in a hole, which means right in closed situations like this. Normally tackles that take place out in space are going to be cane tackles. So again, so watch, Shaq Quarterman is square. the running back is turned. So when that's the situation, what Shaq's going to do is he's going to put his shoulder on the near pec. So right now there's a right shoulder profile tackle is how we would say this. And then what you want to do, and see Shaq right here, take your right elbow and throw your right elbow up to the sky. Bang. And what the right elbow does, your hips follow your elbows, and all of your power is out of the ground. Your lower body is where your power is. So watch Shaq throw the right elbow, which brings that hips and squares his hips. And now he's got the guy wrapped up, and it's a bad down for whoever that guy is, and the rest of the team is coming to finish up on the tackle. So what makes the system very easy is that there's no gray area. You either see the front of the guy, you see the side of the guy. So our players always know in every tackling opportunity they have, it is either a cane tackle or a profile tackle. And the only thing that I care about of that is what shoulder do I have that's close to the ball carrier. And if I always hit with that closest shoulder, then my head is always out of the tackle.
All right, well, thank you for joining us for the breakdown segment with head coach Manny Diaz.
Probably today, let's just run it, and then we'll go from there and we'll work the huddle. Get ready for stretch. Let's have a good one. Let's go, 8. Make some plays, baby. Tyler, you're good. You can never pull a muscle. You got to be an athlete to pull a muscle. How's your arm feel? You would tell me the truth anyways. Straight line. Coach's kid. Oh, it's good, coach. It's like falling off. You tell me it's good. Throwing a ton. You all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
You a little tired?
Just from like
You love the 5:45 lift, right? Isn't that your favorite part of college football right now? Coach, I'd love to get up at 4:45 a.m. every day. Yeah, what do you think about Coach Brewer?
In what way?
What do you think about him? Like, you like him? Do you trust him? Is he cool? Is he kind of shady?
No, I definitely trust him, and I think he loves his job more than anybody else here.
Wow! Look at it. You passed the test too. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. I bet I can get the freshman. Tell me, what do you think about Coach Diaz? Be straight up honest with me now.
He's a great players coach.
He's a great players coach?
Yes, sir.
Who's paying you to say this stuff? Hey, you wouldn't have any trouble looking him off, would you? I mean, you'd be playing games with him all day. He'd be like spinning around. He wouldn't know where you're going. You're going to do the Mahomes and no look, too.
I'll be lined up at DN, though.
Oh, you're coming to DN? There ain't been a DN catch him in a year, which means they're locked in on the outside guys. Okay? D linemen are nuts. This was my throw. Back in the day, I could throw it deep now. It was automatic. Like with my eyes closed, it was automatic. Might as well, right? I mean, you can throw short all day, but you can't win the Derby riding a donkey, so you might as well throw it deep. Good ball, Tyler. Good ball, Tyler. That's it, JP! Obviously, if that backside safety would come over and throw the one-on-one. But 1, 2, 3, yes, come back to your 4-3. If not, go. Like, if somebody's clean, hit them. If not, it's man-to-man. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody got you, go. Otherwise, overall, pretty good stuff. Good timing, good timing. Good catch, Will. Good, that's it, good, good. That away, John Campbell. Plenty of time, nice rhythm, open up, rip it. Good ball, good ball, good ball. That away, Kosi. That's it, good look, good look. It's a good look. Right hash, trio left. Good timing, good timing. That's it, good. Good job, Few. Good job, Few. Good. That group, hustle up. You're a quarterback, you gotta have the best hands on the team. See, some people talk about it, some people be about it. All right, Aaron, you're up. Now I'm just old, now I'm tired. So if we haven't ran it before, don't worry about it at this point. And we have still a whole nother week in this phase, right? So get a break, be smart, go to class, be where you're supposed to be, and then I'll look at the times, I'll shoot y'all a text, and I'll see y'all in the morning. All right, cool. Awkward, distant breakdown deal.
Let's go, Q's on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Q's.
Put a mic on that man all game long. Yeah, that's a nice introduction to Rhett Lashley. So we welcome you back to Hurricanes Gameday. Will Mantle, Josh Stero, Michael Barrow. And guys, Rhett Lashley is a hot topic of discussion for Canes fans. Michael, you've been a coach before. You understand how coaches can be the bad guy or coaches can be labeled as the savior. But when a team like Miami struggles offensively, and now here comes Rhett Lashley with his background in this new system, should fans be genuinely excited that this is going to be sort of a turn of the corner offensively because of Lashley?
Hey, listen. I mean, think about this. Just listen to him, listen to that mic'd up section, made me think about LL Cool J. Ladies love Cool J. Canes fans gonna love Coach Lashley, right? I mean, this dude, man, outstanding. His resume speak for itself. You just see the way he interact with the players. I think that's half the battle. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, number one. Number two, right, you look at his system, right? I love his system based on the talent that we have and what I talked about earlier. He's going to make you cover the entire field, not only vertically, right, but he spreads you out, makes you cover horizontally as well with the bubble screens and stuff like that. And then the additional thing I love, I talked about this earlier, getting the playmakers the ball. It's almost like basketball where you have design plays for certain people. He's intentional about getting his playmakers the ball. I love his style. I had an opportunity to talk to him. I love his mindset. It's not complicated. It's real simple, right? He's taking what the defense is giving to him, but he's also dictating, and he's getting his playmakers the ball and making things happen. The closest thing that I can compare this to is Showtime with the Lakers, right? Where fast up-tempo offense, I'm telling you, it's a fast tempo, it's an offense, it's going. Hey, you got the pedal to the metal every time, and you're just running, and you're running, and you're running, and he's calling the plays and getting this thing done. I love it. I think it's a perfect fit, man.
The LL, I didn't know actually stood for Love Lashley. So that's good that's what the LL stood for. Love
Coach
Lashley.
LL, baby.
He loves some Lashley. And Josh, what do you love about him? Because the stats, I know that sometimes people get overwhelmed with stats from different places and it doesn't translate maybe at a program like Miami. But with the athletes here and the players here, you've got to think that will translate his style.
It definitely should, and you think about it from a recruiting standpoint, right? What kind of football is being played down here? So we talk about connectivity before in the back end. How about just connecting to your recruiting base? The way high school football is played down here, it's spread, it's fast, it's tempo. That's the culture of football in South Florida. And number two, we're not asking for a whole lot here, right? Miami averaged 25 points a game last year. SMU averaged 42. I don't need 42. Give me 30. We'll be fine at 30. 30 is the benchmark. Half of college football averages 30 points, and Miami fell below that. And the losses, it was even less than that. The thing I like about Lashley in this offense, I'm going to keep the basketball analogies going. I'm going to bring it up to, right here and right now, Michael. Golden State Warriors, right? More possessions, more threes, more value. What is tempo? Tempo is more plays. What is more plays? More plays is more opportunities for big plays. More plays and tempo is a chance for the defense to wear down. So not only do you just have to throw the ball down the field, but Manny Diaz talked about stealing X plays, right? When the defense is tired, when they don't rally to the ball, when they don't give good effort, when their judgment goes down, when they miss a line, that's what the tempo does. You're going to steal plays because the defense is not focused on stopping the offense. So last year, SMU ran 80 plays a game. When I watched one of the scrimmages this year, there was 30 seconds off the game clock. Miami had already lined up 3 times. They're going fast, and they're going fast for a reason, okay? And one of those reasons is to wear the defense out, and the other reason is more plays, more volume, more chances to put points on the board.
Let me steal it to basketball. How about Eric Spoelstra? Pace and space. Let's bring it to the Miami Heat. Pace and space. Spread it out.
Well, I knew you were going to do that, man. So that was a no-brainer, dude. That was a no-brainer.
I was going to steal that one. Michael, so who's going to be the leader of that space and that pace and that style but De'Aaron King? And look, very rarely do you get a player of De'Aaron's stature at college football at the level that he comes in statistically, production-wise, leader-wise. What is it about him that you like, that you love, and what does he bring to this Miami offense?
Hey, man, listen. This Joker is the king of the jungle, man. Call him Lion King, man. He's on point. All right, his resume speaks for itself. When I do an NFL comparison, I had an opportunity. I was spending the last 3 years coaching at Seattle, and he reminds me so much of Russell Wilson, right? That Russell can beat you with his arms and his legs. And with him, he's just not a runner. He's a passer first, so he's using his legs, right, to buy time. And he's a playmaker, got great accuracy and whatnot. He's a baller. Man, he makes things happen. He's the magic man to this system. When we talk about fast break offense, right? We talk about him. He's Magic Johnson. He's smart. His football IQ level is off the chain. He's able to understand his pre-snap reads, his post-snap reads, right? He's with the RPOs and whatnot. This system is gonna showcase his ability. Like I said, his resume speaks for itself. I love Lion King, man. He's Simba growing up, man. He's Mustafa, all that stuff. He the Magic Man. He's ready to go. I can't wait to see this guy do his thing.
And Josh, statistically, I mean, you know, it's not crazy when you point it out, but he was up there with some of the best quarterbacks in the country. Look, behind us here where we are, we hope to see Tua Tagovailoa spend a long career in a Miami Dolphins uniform. But guess what? His numbers were right up there with Tua when you talk about rating and efficiency, the type of player he was at Houston.
Yeah, you know what? His stats were off the charts. I mean, he was up there with some of the best quarterbacks in college football when he played in 2018. But I think the point I want to make about De'Ara King has nothing to do with what he does on the field and everything that he does off of it. Because the thing that to a man that players, coaches, strength staff have said about De'Ara King is his leadership, his presence,
no doubt.
And he took ownership of it from day one. The way it was described to me, the way it was described to me, I said, well, how was it? He goes, I was told it's like a boulder hitting a pond. That's how immediate and impactful his leadership, being a fifth-year guy, was on this program. Brevin Jordan, the junior from Bishop Gorman, who is an extremely emotional player, very, very, very outspoken. He said in this fall camp that we needed a senior. We needed experience. When he comes into a room, he takes ownership of the room. The vibe changes. When Mike Rumph, a champion, notices that De'Ara King after practice is staying over and watching defensive walkthrough to see what he can pick up on so he can have a better practice, and then some wide receivers come over and want to hear what he's talking about, I don't think you can even imagine what kind of impact that has on your team. When your quarterback is one of the guys, when the whole team rallies around your quarterback, then you know you have something special. And that room and that side of the ball needed a leader like this. And to me, yes, he can run and he can throw, and we know what he accounted for. But what he does to that room in terms of taking it over, to me, that's what's most important.
He's fun to watch. You got production, you got leadership, you got no complaints from Canes fans as to their quarterback for this season. Of course, to have this season, so much work has to be done behind the scenes in the battle against COVID, in preparing the student athletes and getting everyone ready and understanding the things they had to do. Let's get to our UHealth interview right now with Dr. Lee Kaplan.
Dr. Kaplan, it is a pleasure having you on Hurricanes Game Day. Do you mind walking us through some of the protocols that you and your sports medicine team have in place to keep our student athletes and staff safe?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Tamara, and welcome to Game Day. It's kind of a pleasure to get to this point with everything everybody has gone through. So we're looking forward to seeing the Canes play today. First of all, the team that works with me and the sports medicine team, especially the primary care sports medicine people, Dr. Kienstra, Best, and Henry, have done just real work, but it's really been a university-wide collaborative team, starting at the president's office, working all the way through many important figures at the health system who have really done a wonderful job of putting together these committees, including Aaron Kovitz and Dr. Neimer and Dr. Weiss from medicine, now the head of COVID. So it's really been a university-wide piece that have worked with Blake James and Jen Strawley in terms of doing it. In terms of what we've done, we've worked very closely with Louis Fagenbaum and Vinny Scavo regarding football. Much of it started with Coach Diaz and an understanding of exactly what we need to do and what our limitations were in terms of getting together. So the first thing was educating everybody, and obviously that's been very fluid in terms of what's going on, the testing, et cetera, but really explaining to the team, because self-policing the team is the most important part. So it's included testing, working on testing protocols. Oftentimes you're following policy, especially with outstanding athletic conferences like the ACC, but there was really the development of policy, right? And then what fit us. So we had just an outstanding opportunity because we have a medical center, the Lenora Medical Center the Lenora Foundation Medical Center right next door to the football field, that we have the ability to do things here. So the first thing, we're getting the testing on board, understanding the testing, moving the testing from the health system back into the training room, the follow-up of the testing. We used a ton of telemedicine. Unfortunately, we've been using care collaboration system for over 3 years with our athletics department. So utilizing Zoom and other things within our medical system and the HIPAA protocols to do telehealth visits has been great. And then good or bad, we had an experience because we are the medical providers for the Marlins, that the Marlins had an issue. So knowing that, knowing where the holes were in terms of what needed to be developed and understanding has allowed us to be very proactive. So the specifics are cleaning, wearing masks when you're not on the field, washing your hands a great deal, many things that you hear, but really getting the players to have a very good understanding of what the risk factors are. And they want to play football and they want to play other sports as well throughout the athletics department. So they've been outstanding in terms of what we've seen coming back from them in terms of the behavioral changes that had to be made.
Dr. Kaplan, thank you so much for your time and being a part of our Hurricanes Game Day show.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being here, and I look forward to your inaugural launch this year. Take care.
Great work and information there from Dr. Kaplan. And as we bring it back, how about a live look? And guys, as we looked down at the field earlier and some of the things we've seen, the sights and sounds, as I'm speaking now, I'm hearing Phil Collins in the air of the night. And I know, Josh, you can hear it too. Now we're talking Canes football. Now I'm feeling ready for Canes football. Man, that feels good. Is the fans there? Gotta wear the mask, but certainly doing their part socially distanced, the ones that will be here tonight. Guys, let's turn our attention to Miami's defensive line. Michael, I'll start with you because you touched on it earlier. You mentioned the term a couple of times, rebuild or reload. When you look at this defensive line, is it rebuild or reload?
Reload, baby, reload. Hey, that pit stop that Manny Diaz had when he had a cup of coffee where he took the Temple job, that pit stop was worth it because he brought somebody back with him, right? This Quincy Roche is a grown man. He's a grown man, right? 137 tackles, 39 tackles for loss, all right, 26 sacks in 3 seasons. He was the American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year, ranked 5 in sacks with 13 sacks last year, and number 11, all right, in tackle for loss. He was one of only 2 players, right, that have 6 tackle for loss in 1 game. And then you talk about the bookend, Jalen Phillips, right? Reloaded, man. This guy was the number 1 player at one point coming out of high school. He was at UCLA. We're able to get him, man. He came the year before. Sack got redshirted, ready to go, man. So, and then you got the beef in the middle, like I mentioned earlier, Nesta, make you have a siesta, right? And then Ford, 96. And then you got Harrington that's coming in, if I'm saying his name right, and Jordan Miller, number 91. So, like, God, they like to play too deep, man. These guys going to go eat, man, tackle for loss, man, and go make something happen. I love this group, man. I think it's a great group. And like I said, this is definitely a reload situation.
Severa's a big dude. I remember, Josh, I know you get up close and personal with these guys. I remember seeing him for the first time on the field a couple of years ago. I thought, my God, this is a large human being. He's a big kid. Is depth an issue, Josh? You saw the 4 there. Do the Canes have, there's always that next layer that the Canes tend to have. Is there a depth issue there, or do you like what's even behind those guys as the rotation goes on during the season?
No, I don't think there's a depth issue at this position. I think Miami's got, 7, 8 deep, and they like to rotate players in. So I think that's okay. If I had one question mark, I would say when this defense really operated at a high level with Manny Diaz in the early years, it was the production and push they would get from the interior part of the line, right? You remember Kendrick Norton and R.J. McIntosh? Remember the year Gerald Willis had? Right, I think they're still looking for that kind of production on the inside. Oh, I think Mike can hear it. Can Mike hear it in the background? Yeah. They're playing the music for you, buddy. They're playing the music for you. I'm getting jacked up. But the thing that you just mentioned, the guy I'm pumped up about is Jalen Phillips. The coaches rave about this guy. Yeah. They think he could have a monster year. Now, you got to think about when he came from UCLA, he came in at 225 pounds. He's up to 270 pounds. They said he's had one of the best camps in the 5 years that Manny Diaz has been here for a defensive end. But he put the work in. Last year during practice when he was out, he was spending 2 hours in the weight room. They say this guy is a workaholic, gives great effort. You never have to push him. You never have to, get him motivated. He's infatuated with football. He loves the game, and he's a freak of nature. Todd Stroud said in the 99th percentile of guys he's coached. Now, Todd Stroud, he's been in football for like 30 years. So that's saying something. And he's wearing 15, right? He's wearing the magic number. I think Jalen Phillips, I think that dude is going to have a season. He is going to be a difference maker.
I can't wait to see him out on that field, and we will see him out on this field behind us here shortly. Hurricane Game Day continues. When we come back, we'll check in with special teams, and we'll talk some big picture in college football right after this.
The COVID-19 pandemic has created challenges for all of us, but Canes are resilient. Canes are united. As an athletics department, we are facing significant financial challenges related to the pandemic, but we remain committed to our mission of building champions. We stand united in support of our young men and women and launched the Canes United COVID-19 Relief Initiative. Show your support of the Canes by making a gift today at umcanesunited.com.
As we come back to Hurricanes Game Day, guys, we turn our attention to special teams. And look, this is not a special teams you don't normally talk about unless your special teams is good, right? When your special teams is good, it's almost like everybody's like, okay, special teams is good. Well, the Canes special teams last year, in particular making field goals, was a struggle. Michael, they go out and they don't go far across town, and they grab themselves a kicker who looks like he may have solved that problem. What a difference will a kicker make for this Hurricanes football team?
Yeah, no doubt, man. When you talk about that, not having a kicker, man, just affected the whole game plan. Where now you're in those situations, you couldn't even trust yourself to go for a field goal. Now we got a guy, man, right now, 10 for 11, over 40 yards or plus, man, all-time leading scorers, FIU. Hey, hometown kid, man. I'm excited to be in that situation. Obviously, we got a punt or two that get it done. So right now, what makes it so happen for us flipping the field, for us punting situation, for us points on the board. So then right now, you're not trying to go for it every situation because you're worried about, can we make the points or not, right? Man, you keep the momentum going. You don't go down in the red zone and come up empty-handed. So I'm excited about the changes that we made. This is another big pickup for us, all right, through the graduate transfer protocol. I'm excited to see my man do his job.
Yeah, Jose Borregales is a guy that Canes fans are excited to have on their side, making a lot of field goals. Josh, we're going to turn our attention to the big picture of college football. This is such a unique season. There's so much going on in the world right now. We're so happy that football is even here. We get to discuss college football. But when you look at the way schedules are structured, when you look at the way the national picture is structured, the conferences, what stands out to you, big picture, that is different, that you're keeping your eye on, that obviously is a big change?
Well, I think you just look at the conference schedule, right? There's no more 4 non-conference, and then you go play the conference. After UAB, it's on. This is like a NASCAR sprint to the finish. It's 10 straight conference games. You look at the next 3 for Miami: Louisville, Florida State, Clemson. It doesn't get any tougher. As a fan, it doesn't get any more fun. And what I also like, it's not 2 divisions. Top 2 standing. Last 2 to the finish line. They go to Charlotte to play for the championship. I think I would really honestly consider keeping this format for the rest of the time. I think it's great for football. I think it's great for the fans. I think it makes every game matter to the utmost degree. And I think really it's a wonderful thing that kind of came out of the pandemic. Now, will that happen? I don't know. But in terms of this year, I'm super excited about this. And although we don't play them, Notre Dame's in the mix too. So could you see a Notre Dame-Miami ACC championship in Charlotte? That would be a lot of fun. But let me tell you something. I just want to mention this, because I think this does happen when we talk about Miami, right? It's the U, we're the Canes. I think people need to start understanding that, yes, there is frustration if you're a Miami fan, but I think people not understand that there are good programs in the ACC, and it's harder than people give credit or understanding to, but North Carolina is good. Louisville is good. Virginia Tech is always good. Notre Dame is in this year, and we know Clemson's been on an epic run, and Miami's also struggled with other teams. So as Manny Diaz said, you got to respect the fight. You got to respect the difficulty. You got to put the work in. And this you on the side of your head, that doesn't give you anything other than being a football player. Put the work in, take ownership of it, take responsibility, take accountability, and that's the only way you're going to get a W.
Hey, man, I love it. Yeah, hey, I love what you're saying, Josh, man. It reminds me of Thunderdome, man. The structure, layout, 2 teams in a 1-team league, right? You know, just a format where it's the top 2 teams standing, then they play each other, get it going. Man, I think it's a great opportunity for Miami to sneak up on some people because, right, everybody, you know, based on a normal format, everybody kind of imagine us to finish somewhere in the middle of the pack. I think right now with these teams, the way things are laying out, we can continue to develop, man, and the schedule is set for us to do our thing, man. We just got to go eat and take advantage of it, you know? And that's the thing about it, because there's no pressure, right? It's no pressure. People is not saying, well, they're supposed to do this, but no, let the pressure be on North Carolina, who initially they were saying projected to win the Coastal, right? Let the pressure be on Clemson, right? Right now, we can go out and do our things, man. Like you said, the table is set. Hey, we take care of our business, man. We get this thing rolling like we know we can get it done, and then we can position ourselves to be right there in that ACC championship game. I love it. 2 teams into 1-team lead, baby. Mad Max Thunderdome, man, is on.
Manny Diaz called it kind of like an NFL schedule, the week to week, and the importance of games. And certainly is going to be fun to watch. Now, we often talk athletes and players, calling them heroes, but we know that heroes in this world obviously so often are not athletes. And in this case, those in the military. Our hometown hero today is one incredible woman.
I was about to graduate from high school and didn't really feel that I was ready to go straight to college. I guess career day events at my high school, they brought in recruiters from the various branches of the military. And I just have to tell you, it was the uniform, the Marine Corps uniform, that really impressed me. I said, wow, you know, I just really got a sense that I would have an opportunity to have wonderful training, as well as opportunities to be a leader in the Marine Corps, because it wasn't that many women. So I actually served in the Marine Corps a little over 8.5 years. I was assigned as a media specialist. So in Quantico, Virginia, I was able to not only write for the base newspaper there, but I also helped cover a lot of regional events. And I actually got the opportunity to be the MC, or Mistress of Ceremonies, seeing their commitment and drive to excelling in their sport, regardless of whatever disabilities or challenges that they had. It was so motivating to me and inspiring. That just really sticks out. You know, one of the things that I loved about being in the military is the camaraderie. You immediately connect with others and you kind of become an instant family. Just that ability to come together and really forming strong bonds and friendships.
Hometown hero indeed. And as we turn our attention now to the keys of the game, presented by your South Florida BMW Centers. Guys, there are a lot of keys that we've touched on already, so I think we can kind of encapsulate it and say, okay, Michael, what are the specific keys, though, that you look at when you say, okay, for Miami to win this game, this needs to happen?
No doubt, no doubt. And we talked about them earlier. All right, first round, offensive keys, man. We got to protect the quarterback. Last year was embarrassing. We had gave up 51 sacks, finished last in a Power 5 out of Power 5 teams. Right now, Coach Justice, man, we're getting that stuff fixed, man. We got to protect our quarterback, let him do his thing. Number 2, keep the chains moving, man. I mentioned earlier, man, this is showtime. This is Magic Johnson. This is tempo. We got to keep this thing rolling. In order to keep the chains moving, we got to get those first downs. We got to keep the chains moving so that way we position ourselves to score in the red zone. All right, so we got to keep the pedal on the metal. We got to make some plays. We got to win on first downs. We got to do it. And then number 3, right, UAB plays a lot of man-to-man coverage. We got to win our one-on-one battles. Hands down, we got to win from the tight end to the receivers, to the running backs out the backfield, even to the O-line protect. We got to win our one-on-one battles, man, and we got to take so that way we can create some explosive plays and put some points on the board. From a defensive standpoint, right? All right, we already talked about it. Hey, this game is UPS. What can Brown do for you? That's UAB mindset. They have their head coach is a defensive-minded coach. He used to be the defensive coordinator. So he's going to come in and try to establish the run. We got to go ahead and fill those gaps. Linebackers got to go downhill. All right, we got to make it happen. If you're deep, stay deep. Let the guys, the front 7, stop the run. Make this game one-dimensional because it leads to number 2. If we can make this game one-dimensional, then we're going to make UAB pay with turnovers. Last year, they gave 28 turnovers. This last game that they just played this year, they had 3. All right, we got to continue that streak. I want to see take out that turnover chain, baby. We got to make them pay when a quarterback throws one. He's a stare-down quarterback. We got to catch the ones he throw to us, and then we got to create. And then the last thing, number 3, man, we got to tackle. This is the Miami standard. You saw Coach Diaz talk about the points of tackle with the cane tackle, whatnot. This being the first game, that's one of the things that because you don't have the opportunity to have the live contact the way you want it, is that tackling is a plus. You guys got to run to the ball, gain tackle, run their feet, eyes through the drive, eyes through the thighs, drive for 5. All right, we got to wrap up and roll. We get an opportunity profile tackle. We got to run through that guy, man. We got to tackle, man. Those are the keys to the game. We do those things. Hey, we're going to walk out here with a W, baby.
You know, the one that stood out to me, Michael, and I know, Josh, we're looking forward to it, is the turnovers. And look, we know the formula in Manny Diaz's defense. And every defense, you want to create turnovers, okay? I get it. But in Manny's defense specifically, we want to see that turnover chain. We want to see that turnover chain.
Yeah, I want to see the new turnover chain.
We saw it on Michael. We saw the old one on Michael already. We want to see the new one on Michael now.
I want to see the new one, baby. I want to see the new one. I want to see what the new one look like, baby. You know, every year they have something new, so we want to see it, baby.
I can't wait. But Josh, their quarterback, and we've highlighted a bit for those that are just tuning in, there are mistakes there. There's potential mistakes there that Miami could take advantage of.
Yeah, I think really this is one of the biggest keys in the game tonight is you look at their offense and it's hand off and throw the ball down the field. But the quarterback, to me, I didn't see a lot that I loved about him when I watched UAB. As Michael said, he's prone to turning it over. He's going to stare you down. He gets happy feet in the pocket. He doesn't like pressure. And what did we talk about for Miami? We just talked about the defensive line, right? They're deep. They've got talent at the bookends in terms of Roche and Phillips. That's a matchup Miami has to win. Miami has to be playing on the other side of the offensive line, not only to stop the run, but also to put pressure on Johnson. Against Central Arkansas, he felt no pressure. They weren't able to get to him. But to me, that's going to be the single biggest difference for Johnson in Game 2 than in Game 1 is that he's going up against a different kind of defensive line in the Miami Hurricanes. And I think Jalen Phillips and Quincy Roche, I'm going to steal something from Michael Barrow. We're going to eat tonight. We got to eat tonight, baby. I don't know if I can eat the way Michael eats, because the amount of times Michael said, let's eat tonight, I think I'd weigh about 300 pounds. But if the Hurricanes are doing that, I'm good with it.
Yeah, we got to eat, man. We got to eat. And you know what, another thing, Josh, what you talked about, sometimes, right, get hits on this guy, man. Like you talked about, he got the happy feet, right? When you get hits on this guy, or then now if you can't get there with our length, get our hands up, man. Get in the, fill up those throwing lanes, man. It's going to give us some opportunity, well said. And I think with our DBs, man, we got to take advantage of it. And like you said, right, they're trying to establish the run because they want to throw the ball over the top. So when we deep, we got to stay deep, right? Whoever deep got to stay deep. We got to stay over top because this guy's going to give us some opportunities, man.
Hopefully the Canes take advantage. Those are your keys to the game presented by your South Florida BMW centers. Right now we're going to turn our attention to a former UAB soccer player who is part of the focus now in Canes in careers.
Ronnie, when you were a recruit, what was so attractive about Miami that led you to come here?
So I'm originally from Canada. I actually ended up making a checklist with my mom of all the different things that mattered. And when we went down to visit and actually were on the campus, it was like, this is beautiful. Like, I don't even know how you can visit and not want to go. But it also checked so many other boxes. Like, the business school is ranked really well. Where you end up going to school, you create a network. I thought it was really important to be able to connect with people from all over the world. And Miami is its own hub with so many different cultures. So I just figured it would create a lot of opportunities for me.
And then once you were on campus, what led you to choose the Miami Herbert Business School as your choice of study?
The professors and the different things that you can get into, because I studied finance and marketing and entrepreneurship, had so many different classes. The capstone for the entrepreneurship program, we actually worked with a business. We worked with the San Antonio Spurs for a semester, putting together a plan for their nonprofit arm and launching a youth girls league. So I mean, there's so many different opportunities that get thrown your way being in the business school, and the professors were awesome. Shout out to Susie from the business school, who was an awesome entrepreneurship professor, and I've been able to connect with actually 2 former Hurricanes, so Miami alums, and just immediately having that connection of we're both Canes. It helps so much creating that connection, and the calls that I've had with him or just speaking with him helps.
Great to see Ronnie there, former UAB soccer player, Canes in careers. And we know that a lot of Canes turned their careers to pro football, as Michael did, at least for a period of time. And one of those is KJ Osborn. Coming up in just a bit here on Hurricanes Game Day, we're all going to get a chance to talk a little bit with KJ Osborn on the show. He's getting ready for his first NFL game, and I'm sure Michael can talk to him about the nerves of that in a moment. But when we come back, we'll have that. For now, though, you can't go to a college football game and a Canes game without having the band perform. So since you can't be at the game right now, we're going to bring the band to you, the UM Band of the Hour right now.
Hey, Hurricane fans, it's time to show your spirit. Give me an M. Give me an I. Give me an A. Give me an M. Give me an I. What's that spell? Who's gonna win? Let's keep the spirit going. Give me a C. Give me an A. Give me an N. Give me an E. Give me an S. Whoa, Hurricanes.
Download the new Miami Hurricanes app today for the ultimate Canes fan experience.
This year, the game plan is different. Hard Rock Stadium won't have all 65,000 of you bringing each game to life. But that can't stop you from making your presence as a Canes fan known. The Miami Hurricanes team store has everything you need for football in 2020. Find Canes apparel to wear for men, women, and kids. Represent the U wherever you are this football season. Shop now at Shop Miami Hurricanes.
Hey guys, as we come back to Hurricanes game day, yes, we're getting closer and closer to kickoff here at Hard Rock Stadium between the Canes and UAB to open the season. If you're just joining us or you've been watching for a bit, Will Manso, Josh Darrow, Michael Barrow, we've been taking the last 2 hours or so. We're going to do that before every single home game here on Hurricanes game day. And Michael and Josh, one thing we're also going to do every single show is bring Canes fans a nice surprise. So why don't we surprise them with a special guest right now? And that is a guy who not too long ago was playing on this field behind me, and that's KJ Osborn, former Canes wide receiver, current Vikings wide receiver. KJ, it's good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's good to be here. How you doing?
You know what? We're good. We're good. We're getting ready for Canes football. I know that excites you as well. Guys, we got KJ here. Michael, I joked earlier, KJ's getting ready for the NFL, man. What advice could you give him for that, man? He's getting ready for that first big step. What's that like? KJ, what's it like for you getting ready now to be a pro?
It's two sides of, mentally it's a lot. It's different. But once everything slows down, it's we're just playing football out there. But it's definitely a lot of fun, and I can't wait till Sunday.
Hey, my advice that I would give you, KJ, man, do what you did that got you there. It's the reason why they drafted you, right? And the biggest thing, man, just keep your confidence. Hey, but tell me this, man, how has going to UM prepared you for that moment?
Oh, it prepared me tremendously. I say just out there on Green Tree, just going against those DBs and those guys every single day, Al Blades and Trajan and DJ, all those guys that made me better every day. Now when I get here to the NFL, I've gone against, some of the top talent in the country, and I feel like it helped prepare me for today.
Hey, Josh, let's have some fun with KJ here. What do we got for KJ here? We gotta test him today.
All right, KJ, I need to know. Can you tell me what it's like when you put on the touchdown rings? You put them on 5 times. Tell me what that's like to put those rings on.
Oh man, when you put on those touchdown rings, man, I feel like the whole stadium just looking at you. All your teammates are around celebrating you. All the cameras are on you. That's Miami. It's the 305. That's what it feels like. It feels great, showing off them rings. It's definitely a great feeling. I miss it.
KJ, man, tell me about the game, man. Who are you excited about watching today, man? Which Hurricanes are you excited about watching today?
Oh man, I'll be here, until the game and talk about name them all. I texted a bunch of guys today. I can't wait to see that offense, man. I can't wait to see what De'Aaron King is gonna do. Cam Harris had a tremendous offseason. I talked to Wiggs, talked to Harley, I talked to Pope, I talked to Al Blades, I talked to Amari Carter, Zach McLeod. I mean, a bunch of guys, man.
Roll call, baby, roll call.
Man, I talked to a bunch of guys, man. We stay connected all the time. I can't wait to see these guys play, man.
You mentioned De'Aaron King, and look, I know you're an alum, but you're also a fan. What is it about him? We saw the plays he made when he played at Houston that brings so much excitement now to Canes fans and to former players like yourself that this offense could be special this year.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's just special. He can run the football, he can throw the football. I think he has really good awareness. His agility, and you always see a spin move that he hits, and I always compliment him on. I got a chance to watch practice, before the virus stuff went around, and I was just able to see him in person. And I think he's a tremendous leader. The locker room trusts him, and again, I just can't wait to see him out there, make plays and be a dual threat guy.
KJ,
Hey, man,
I know
what do you think about-
you had a
I'm
big
sorry.
impact on special teams, right? As a punt returner, 15 yards a game last year, and your special teams coach, John Packey, you're going to laugh probably when I say this, right? You're a punt catcher before you're a punt returner. Can you talk about the chaos of the ball in the air coming down and what Mark Pope, what he needs to sort of just understand being in that position, since he's going to be the guy that they're going to go to start?
Right. First, I feel like you got to take pride in it. And that's something that I do. I take tremendous pride, even here with the Vikings. Whether it be punt return, kick return. Just knowing that the team is trusting you to be the first person to touch the ball. I think you got to take tremendous pride in that. And then just relying on your training. It's nothing new. Just game time. Rather that be how you track the ball. How it's coming off the punter's foot and things like that. I will say his first one, he might be a little nervous. I was pretty nervous my first punt return of my college career back at Buffalo. But after you get the hang of it, you get real comfortable and you can start to be special. So, yeah, I'm really excited for him to be back there. I can't wait to see what he does. I feel like he's going to shock a lot of people.
Hey, KJ, you mentioned you talked to a lot of guys, man. From the offensive guys, man, what's their excitement about the offense, man, being in this offensive scheme, showcasing their ability? I know you wish you had one more year to showcase your ability in this offense here. What are some of the things the guys have been saying about the offense, man, and Coach LL, baby?
Oh, they love it, man. They love it. They love how fast-paced it is. They're taking D-shots, over the middle. It's easy for them. The guys can stay on the same side, and also guys can play many different positions. They have a lot of depth. They even have some young receivers who I've heard a lot about, who I've also spoke to. They're excited about the quarterback, and I think they're just excited, for what they can do. So again, I can't wait to see it. I feel like they're going to shock a lot of people.
KJ, before we let you go, we want to do a little fun segment for you. We're going to call it Rings or Chains. Rings, of course, for the offense, chain for the turnover, chain for the defense. So let's test what you think may happen tonight. Here's the first one. De'Aaron King, 4 total touchdowns, or the defense gives up 2 TDs or less. What's more likely? De'Aaron King gets his 4 total touchdowns, or the D gives up 2 TDs or less?
Oh, that's tough.
I know it is.
I like De'Aaron King. Ooh. I don't think the defense gonna give up 2 touchdowns though. But I like De'Aaron King for 4 touchdowns.
He put it up.
You got to throw the rings up. You got to stick with the offense.
There we go.
Get the rings. Get the rings. Hey, we got the portal power too, guys. Josh, what's the portal power all about? Because you've got all these guys that are around.
Well, this is a man that we snaked him out of the portal. So better debut today from the portal. Jalen Phillips or Jared Williams, the right tackle?
Jalen Phillips. I've heard a lot about Jalen. The type of offseason he's had. I spoke to him. I can't wait to see him play too.
So he went change.
All right, let's go
He
went change. Okay, so he's repping the defense, so far so good. All right, let's go for the next one. Rings or chains. Brevin and Will, 2 very talented tight ends. We talked earlier, 2 of the best tight ends as far as a duo in the country offensively. Do you think they combine for 7 catches or more? Or Zach McLeod, who is now, of course, back and a leader on defense, has at least 7 tackles? What's more likely? Brevin and Will get you 7 or more catches, or Zach gets 7 or more tackles?
I'm going with my guy Zach McCloud. I like Zach. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see Zach shine, man. He's waited a whole year to get back on the field. I know he's hungry. I know he's working hard. You know, I think he's gonna be special tonight.
There you go. You survived rings and chains, and you know what? You repped all your former teammates and friends, and you did a great job. Listen, you guys got what? You guys got Green Bay this weekend, is that right, to open up?
Yes, sir. At home.
Well, listen, best of luck. Like all Canes, we're going to be watching, we're going to be taking notes, and we're going to be rooting for you. KJ, congratulations on making it to the NFL, and we hope you have a long and prosperous career. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks KJ. Appreciate you, man.
All right, KJ Osborn, part of Hurricanes Game Day. When we come back, final thoughts right after this.
Alex Terrell, senior on the University of Miami baseball team, and the teacher I appreciate the most is Michelle Lovett. She was a freshman year teacher for health at Archbishop McCarthy High School. She took our relationship, in and out of the classroom, always making sure I was okay on campus. We still keep in touch today, and she texted me after big games, congratulations. She comes out to a few of them, and currently she's looking after my younger siblings that go to Archbishop, and we're going big for teachers on September 14th.
The COVID-19 pandemic has created challenges for all of us, but Canes are resilient. Canes are united. As an athletics department, we are facing significant financial challenges related to the pandemic, but we remain committed to our mission of building champions. We stand united in support of our young men and women and launched the Canes United COVID-19 Relief Initiative. Show your support of the Canes by making a gift today at umcanesunited.com.
Download the new Miami Hurricanes app today for the ultimate Canes fan experience.
Welcome back. Final segment of Hurricanes Game Day. Will Manso joined by Josh Darrow and Michael Barrow, the Canes great. And guys, we opened the show with Michael bringing Lysol and disinfectants out of the smoke. There we go.
They got to run through the smoke, baby.
The Canes themselves are about to run through the smoke behind us here. We're going to hopefully have that for you in a moment. But as we wrap it up, here we are, guys. I'll be honest with you. If we sat and had this discussion 2 months ago, I said, I don't know if we get to this point this year. But here we are. We get to see Canes football tonight. Michael, what are you most excited about? Kind of put the cherry on top of this pregame show of what you want to see tonight from this Hurricanes football team.
You know what? I want to see the guys go back to the basics, man, just to go eat. Like, when I talk to my guys as a coach, I just try to keep it simple. I say, let's go eat to and have fun, right? Control what you control. That EAT is just an acronym. E for great effort, A for positive aggressive attitude, T for mental and physical toughness, and what? Have fun, man. Just go out and ball, man. They don't work. Like Bill Parr said, that's the reason why you lift all those weights. That's the reason why you did all that stuff, right? They put all the work into this. It's time to show up and show out, man. It's time to go have some fun, man. Turn it loose. Just go play relentless and strain to the ball and have fun. And then number two, man, I'm excited to see this offense. I'm excited to see my man Lion King, Derek King, man, do his thing. I'm excited to see my coach LL, baby. All right, they love him. Ladies love him, or coach players, Canes fans love him. Lastly, right? I'm excited to see this offense do its thing, man, with this fast tempo, showtime offense on the football field, man.
Josh?
I'll make it really simple.
Excitement for you.
appreciate the moment, right? This moment's bigger than most because of everything they've gone through, not just the work in the weight room, but the work to keep each other safe, to keep themselves safe, to keep their staff safe, and to get to have this tonight. Football is cherished. These games are cherished. Playing is cherished. But tonight is the ultimate, right? Because of everything they had to sacrifice. Play with that kind of appreciation.
We got those Canes over here. Woo! We got those Canes over here.
We can do it all here.
Canes over here.
We can do it all over here.
Yeah, baby.
We can have our own fan segment. We can do it all tonight.
Popcorn, baby.
Good stuff. Hey, guys, this is just the first one of many this season at home. We look forward to it. For now, though, enjoy the game. Hurricanes football coming your way. Enjoy the action and get yourself pumped up even more as the Canes season kicks off tonight. There you see the Canes get ready to come out of that smoke. This is quite so. Michael, I saw crazy. You end it with the guys coming out of the smoke. Miami Hurricanes, one of the most iconic things you see in college football.
Let's go, man.
There you go, Michael.
There you go, baby. That's the real smoke right there.
Yeah, Mike, you need more smoke, dude.
I know, right? I got to get the Ibis, man, here, man. We got to make it happen, man.
This is going to be fun, fellas. This is going to be fun. We got
baby.
It's going to be awesome.
Woo!
I see. Yes.
Canes football, baby. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy the game.